Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
If I'm a one-hit wonder, at least I got one, huh? At least I got something, really ain't me. The beat bumping, one song could change lives. Let's see something, one joke could save lives. We gon' keep coming, keep functioning, something out of nothing. Ball-wise, I'm top 300, get your favorite artist. I'll chop it up with mutton if they haters. Your ghosts could be bludgeon if they for real. We getting money, subtract BS minus Negroes, cutting everything authentic. Stupid shit I did it, punishing myself like my mom prison. No questions, no tea, not lifting. One time for tea, being broke wasn't living. One hit wonder. At least I got.
What's up, people? Happy Monday. Peace and blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. How everybody doing? Shout outs to my poets, my writers, my content creators. What's the word? What is the word? There's a lot going on right now. A lot. But you know what? There's no place I'd rather be than amongst the land of the living. I would rather be here than to be in some of the conditions that a lot of people are in right now. Real talk. You see the title? I got a clip. I got Rob. I got Sid in the building. Shout outs to everybody that pulled up. Do me a solid, like, share, repost. Let the people know that we are on. Thoughts, comments, remarks, share them. You know how we do. We always engage with the people. Let me go ahead and bring up Rob. I believe Sid is taking care of something right now. So I'm going to bring Rob up. And yeah, in a second, we're going to get into this one, man. Rob, what's going on, sir?
Yowzers, what's happening then? Let me get in the circle. Happy Monday.
Likewise. Yo.
Sitting there.
Happy Monday. How's everybody's weekends, man?
Good now.
I like that. It could always be worse, right?
Especially in these days and age.
Right.
We got to do an episode on the snaps, man. You probably knowing you probably did one already, did. Y'all did that already.
Matter of fact, I just finished recording one. It wasn't a live stream, it was a reaction. The actual stream that I did, they tried to come for me on YouTube, so I had to mark it private, and then I have another. Yeah. We can always spin back though. We can always spin back.
Gotcha.
I've been wanting to do an economy one because of everything that's happening there, especially with all the layoffs. And then Target and a couple others, Walmart, just announced that they're not going to be hiring any extra personnel for the holidays. Like, if that's not an indicator, I don't know what is.
I done said it a million times. They don't like us. They don't. It's getting more and more apparent. I'm gonna save that. I got two in the clip. I'm gonna drop those probably like tomorrow or Wednesday. Some real messages, man. There's some people out here that's trying to spread some information. Y'all need to check these out. It's food for thought before y'all start crashing out and getting locked up, man. You know. But the video that I have here is about a young gentleman who lost his life because of road rage. Yeah. Honking the horn. This is specifically for people who don't have patience behind the wheel. This isn't the first time we've covered something like this before. Pretty sure it won't be the last. I'm going to bring this up on a big screen. I'm going to let it run. It's like 2 minutes. Get y'all thoughts. And pretty much just go from there.
Kentrell Settles was out spinning the block on a Friday afternoon without a care in the world, not knowing that would be the last block he would spin. On Friday, October 17th, 2025, 21-year-old Kentrell Settles and his girlfriend were riding through a West Indianapolis neighborhood when they approached a stoplight at the intersection of West 38th and Georgetown Road. Kentrell pulled up behind a green SUV that was already stopped at the red light. After a brief wait, the light turned green, but the woman in front of Kentrell didn't move. Thinking the woman in front of him may have been distracted, Kentrell honked his horn in hopes of getting her attention, but ultimately sped around her. Kentrell had no idea that the swift maneuver he had just made around the woman would cost him his life. The woman in the green SUV, who we now know was 23-year-old Debrah Benefiel, didn't take kindly to Kentrell honking at her, so in a mad rage, she decided to follow him. Reports indicate that Kentrell's girlfriend told police Benefiel drove closely behind them while yelling, screaming, and gesturing with her hands. In panic mode, Kentrell attempted to evade Benefiel's wrath by turning into the nearby Georgetown Plaza. That, unfortunately, was a turn that Kentrell never had a chance to make. Benefiel pulled out a .40 caliber Glock and shot a single bullet into Kentrell's rear passenger window, rendering a fatal shot to the chest. Kentrell's girlfriend stated that she jumped into Kentrell's lap and drove to the 3600 block of Donald Avenue, which is where the police discovered him. Kentrell was rushed to Ashkenazi Health Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at approximately 2:43 p.m. Using license plate readers and surveillance footage, detectives tracked down Benefiel's vehicle and subsequently arrested her. Debrah Benefiel, having no prior criminal history, is being held at the Marion County Jail without bond, charged with murder and criminal recklessness. This is a sad and sobering reminder that one seemingly trivial false move could cost you your life. Thank you for sounding the alarm with Nona J, where we expose the dirt and keep you alert. Stay tuned for your latest news updates.
Driver.
Who wants to start us off? My condolences to the family.
That's horrible. It ain't no reason, no excuse. You wonder, like, if she knew them, but at the end of the day, we know that a lot of times people are tough behind the wheel. They'll do more things than they normally would if they was face to face. And we know that in the state we in right now, guns is the thing. I don't know what they doing up there, but I know here they just made it open carry. And I know in Georgia it's open carry. I know in Arizona it's open carry. So with all this stuff going on, they've been a lot of these states have been pro-gun, and it's crazy because I heard D.L. Hughley one time. He said that when you carry a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and it's scary. I also had an officer tell me that in Florida alone, 3 out of every 7 cars has a gun in them, and that's just sad, and there's no excuse for that.
There are open carry laws in Indiana as well. Unless you're a felon or under the age of 18, you are allowed to carry a weapon with you. Which I understand needing to protect yourself, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings because, again, we should have the right to protect ourselves, but it does also put people at risk when you have people that don't know how to handle their emotions properly at all. I almost would not be surprised if there was drugs involved or something. Like if she had something else going on with her and it wasn't just like road rage, if she had like a mental health problem. I mean, she most certainly has a mental health problem of some sort, but also drugs. I know Indiana has a pretty significant drug problem out there. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's tragic. And also that AI animation of all of that was pretty strange. It was a bit disconcerting to see how they made her distorted her face and everything. It was like kind of straight out of a horror movie. But that is beside the point because this should not be happening. This makes me think of the video we did last week or 2 weeks ago when that woman was murdered for not saying thank you for opening a door. Like what is happening with people? Are we really that short-tempered that we're just going to kill somebody over common courtesy mistakes? Like it's not like he rammed her car and took off or anything. He just was like, oh, this lady, honk, drive around, and then she was angry enough that I'm going to chase you down and shoot you. Like, what is happening?
You know, some people they have weapons for the sole purpose of being pushed. Like they are looking for a reason to use it because I just spent $300, $400, $500 on this. I'm not about to sit here and let it just go to waste. From what they said, she had never even been in trouble prior to this. So just off of what I've seen, she already had you can tell when somebody has a short temper or they have a bad attitude or you're impatient. When you're driving, you have to be on the watch for all incoming and ongoing traffic. You're always playing offense and defense on the road. You can never get 1000% comfortable at a stoplight, turning, parked. You could be in front of your house and somebody driving crazy. You just don't know, you know. And for adults to get on the road and pretend as if, all right, this is my highway, this is my street, all of this belongs to me. Nobody has the right to say, hey, come on, what are you doing? We got places to go. I'm gonna need you to pay attention. You're staring at your phone. Why are you texting while you're driving? Hello, honk honk. It's wild. If I am not paying attention on the road and somebody is trying to get my attention, they have every right to get my attention. I'm impeding on your destination, or I could be putting people at risk for my negligence. Arguing, yelling, whatever. This woman was distracted at the light. Who knows what she was doing? Was she texting? Was she staring down at the radio? Was she trying to change the song playing? Who knows? But I've seen stuff like this before. The people who are holding everybody up, they tend to get angry at you for their wrongdoing. Ma'am, sir, you're the problem here, not me. My condolences again to the family, man. This was reckless. This was irresponsible. She didn't have no excuse, no legitimate reason for doing what she did. She literally followed them. The man was going about his way. You don't want to move? All right, let me go ahead and get out the way. But see, y'all be getting so upset and so emotional when someone says, look, man, we're trying to go. We got places to be. My tank is on E. Like, I have to get to a gas station. Or I have an emergency. I got to get to the hospital. My family is dying on a sick bed. I need to get to where I need to get to. Why are you holding us up? Those are warranted. Those beep beep, those are warranted. Do people have respect for the road anymore? I yield the mic.
It kind of always been like that. Like, I'm gonna tell you, it took me years to start honking. It took me years to start, like, because I know how people are. And then I remember a few years ago where they were saying they had like those gang initiations or whatever, where people was like either bumping you or they'll stop you, and then if you wild out, you know, if you say something or whatever, they get out. But road rage been real. I think what's new now is that everybody got a gun now. They've been. I remember the cab drivers used to in New York. There was fights. We seen so many fights between cab drivers and pedestrians. We seen them pull out. I seen people pull out crowbars. I done seen people pull out bats. I done seen people pull to the side. And you ain't never lied about the, I wish somebody would. You know, it's another way to say it. I gotta be politically correct, but I wish somebody would today try me, woo, woo, woo. And I think, people always been angry, but with the cameras, it makes it look like it's at an all-time high. Like, man, this is like they're spewing. You think about right now, you know, this off topic, but they're cutting the food stamps, whatever they want to call them. They cut the Fed workers, they're cutting, the government is shut down. that guy in his office there, and all these other countries supposedly fixing problems, and it's going down over here. So the anger, let's say, if it wasn't at an all-time high, it's back at it. Let's say it's back, because I don't think that stuff has ever gone away. So this just adds to it, to where people riding around upset, and all it takes is that one little trigger. And again, I used to stop, like, a lot of times. I used to drive with my wife, and she'd be like, hit the horn, and I'm like, nah, because I don't know what they got over there. I don't feel like getting that, and I'm a patient person. But then at the same time, I learned a lot of times when I realized nice guys finish last because they put everybody first. And when you do that, a lot of times I used to be upset because I let a lot of people run over me. So now in the car, I'm a little quicker to honk, especially if it's just irate. And you're absolutely right. But in today's time, that's all it takes now, especially with like I said, everybody got a gun. Like, if not everybody, most people got a gun, whether it's legal or illegal. So all it takes is that argument, because people already running around. They're already moving. I just say angry.
Just looking up some of the statistics. Right now, the rate is roughly one person, or for 2023, they don't have the stats out for 2024, 2025 that I've seen yet. But in 2023, someone was shot or wounded or killed in a road rage incident on average every 18 hours. So far in 2025, there's been 650 incidences of road rage. And the states with the worst stats, New Mexico's first, Arizona's second, Tennessee, Colorado, Wisconsin, Delaware, Texas is sixth, Indiana is seventh, and that's the state that we're looking at. And they said 37% of road rage incidences involved guns, and more often than not, the gun-related incidences were more fatal than the other types of road rage incidences. The states that have open carry laws had the highest rates of gun-based road rage incidents. And it has gone up significantly since 2020. From 2020 to 2021, the rates of gun violence doubled, and it has increased since then. Oh, sorry, it wasn't 650, it was 601. 601 incidences of gun violence per year since 2020. And 2021 was the worst, with 44 people shot, wounded, or killed, or shot and wounded or killed each month. So there has been a significant increase in road rage, and it seems like it's not going to go down. As we've all said, we're kind of in a boiling pot right now, and tensions are incredibly high. And between ICE agents and people, crimes of desperation, and just people being at their wits' end, I can imagine that this gun violence and this violence in general is only going to get worse. I know that, I've even had this talk with my own husband, where he wants to start keeping a weapon in the car to protect himself, especially in case of ICE, because obviously with his skin color, people have thought he was Middle Eastern, people can see him as black, and obviously we know how those people are perceived. And it doesn't even matter if you're a citizen anymore. It doesn't matter if you're in the military. It doesn't matter if you're a legal, law-abiding citizen. They do not care. They will pull you out of your car. They will damage your car. They will take you and put you somewhere where nobody knows where you are and not tell anyone about you. And he's at the point where he's like, if you try and pull me out of my car, I need to protect myself. And this kind of mentality, sure, it's going to keep a lot of people safe, but it's also going to put people at risk, because not everyone has the temper control that my husband has. Not everyone has the ability to manage their emotions like some people can. And we're going to have people like this who are going to use that to their advantage to take somebody else's life, or at least punish somebody for something really, really minor that they had done. So this is sadly really common compared to what we might think it is. This isn't something that you can be like, oh, well, that won't happen to me. That's not something that's gonna, because as I forgot who said it, but one of you guys said it. You never know. Like, this could literally happen around the block from your house. My mom and I were talking. We're going to be going to visit family for Christmas, and that involves driving through a couple states. And my mom, and the place we're going to end up is a red state, and my mom is not happy with that. And she was saying, like, well, be careful. Like, be careful on the roadways. You never know. Like, people are, like, you can get in a car accident and drive safe and blah, blah, blah. You know, typical mom stuff. But I told her, I'm like, Mom, I mean, honestly, you could literally die down the street from your house. It doesn't matter how far you drive, you're still at risk no matter where you go. And it's at a point where it's like, you can't be scared of everything. And unfortunately, there's going to be risks that you take to do things, to live a normal life, because violence now is everywhere. You can't escape it. There's no way that you can leave your house completely free of risk. I mean, even the poor family that we talked about last week, somebody broke into their house in the middle of the night when they were home and they got killed. I'm like, you are not, you're not free from danger just because you're at home. And we're living in that reality now where you are in danger no matter where you are, whether it's at your house, at your school, at your church, in your car, whatever state. They even said this, no, none of these states are free from this type of violence. There's reports in every single state of this type of incident. And unfortunately, like, we have to protect ourselves and also come to terms with that, like, make peace with that. You know, like, it's almost like the same thing with illnesses. Like, you can't go around your whole life being worried, like, oh, what if I get cancer from eating this? Oh my God, what if I get diabetes if I eat this one sweet? Like, you have to still try and live normally while still understanding that there are risks to existing. But it's sad because we're just going to hear more and more of these incidences, especially with cameras everywhere and with the ability to report this and have it on the news and have it on social media. We're going to hear about this stuff all the time. And it's like a combination of, you can't live in fear, but at the same time, you have to live with precaution. You have to be as careful as you can. And it's so hard because this person didn't do anything wrong. He didn't instigate anybody that he knew of, at least. He wasn't breaking the law. He didn't do anything wrong. It was just the wrong place at the wrong time with somebody who's not right in the mind. And yeah, it's such a tragedy to talk about because there's not much you can do about it besides taking away every single person's gun, which still is not going to change much because there's still going to be people that break the law and still do what they're going to do. So I guess it's more of a matter of like managing and trying to make sure that the right people have access to them and do your best to prevent like the dangerous people from having access to them. But again, it's one of those things that there's not much you can do about, because this is kind of like, if they don't have the self-control, even if they don't have a gun, they're still going to do what they're going to do. And you can't completely banish crime everywhere all forever. But that doesn't make these any less tragic.
It's just a bunch of adults with uncontrollable emotions. You over the age of 18 and you don't know how to process your feelings, and you get upset and easily triggered by every single gesture, every word, that is a problem. That is a huge problem. I don't even necessarily think that having a weapon in this case is my biggest concern. Is this mindset that people have behind the wheel where they just feel like you just own the street. That one incident told me everything I need to know about her. I'm sure you're probably a hard worker and everything, but your temperament is very short. You don't even have a record, but put you behind that wheel. I'm sure that your friends and family got many stories about you snapping. And I've been the passenger. I have a few people that I know personally. They are easily triggered as well. They don't have the same level of patience as me. Me, I got all the patience in the world. I get irritated. I think, yeah, you holding us up. You taking way too long to move. Have some decorum on the road. Have respect for the other drivers. You're not the only one that's trying to make a left turn or a right turn or get in a lane here or a lane there. You're not the only one. Where's the etiquette? There is none. Just like, what was the whole point of the book? Going to drive school, getting your degree, getting all these different badges, and you still don't even know how to control yourself. That's my problem. Imagine you never did anything wrong in your life. You don't have no records, nothing. And then just one day you behind the road. I say behind the road. You behind the wheel on the road. Somebody's in front of you. They don't move fast enough for you. You blow your horn. Your solution to avoiding any ignorance or exchange of it is to just go your own way. And then out of nowhere, unbeknownst to you, somebody follows you. They follow you and then take your life. You try to avoid it or try to de-escalate it as much as possible. I believe that brother tried everything within his power to address the driver without turning it into something bigger than what it had to be. Because most people, they would pull up to the side of the person's car, they would get out and they would fight and do all. It seemed to me like he did everything within his reason to, handle that without nobody getting hurt. And we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. She felt like he was disrespecting her, or he was insulting her her femininity. Maybe she's just a masculine drink. I don't know. But like, I'm not about to sit here and follow you just because you blew your horn at me. It's not that deep. It's never that deep. So, nah, I agree. The violence is not going to slow down. It's not. In a perfect world, everybody would get therapy and they would heal from their mess, walk away. It's better to walk away to walk into it, and then you spend the rest of your life behind bars. That's not good enough. We let our feelings get the best of us, and then we regret it later on and wish we would have did something different. And clearly nobody's learning, because from them statistics that you read, this is happening way more than I thought it was. Them two women was fighting in the middle of the street. Why the hell you fighting in the middle of the street at 3:00 in the morning? A driver just ran them over. What? What are we doing? That's crazy. You had one come in, they turned like they're going into a parking space. They could have stopped the traffic, blocked it, and got them off the street. Like, that was my opinion. You could have saved them two women's life. All you had to do was block traffic. Step out your car like a good citizen. And hey, look, man, y'all fighting in the middle of the street. Y'all take that to the sidewalk. SM, what's up? Take that to the sidewalk if you're gonna do it. Don't be fighting in the middle of the street. But they say, I'm gonna mind my business, and then another car follows up, ran them over, and kept it moving. He's still looking for them right now as we speak. So 2 women are dead for no reason. I yield the mic.
First of all, I hope you had a good birthday, SM. This always makes me think of this one particular video that it's hilarious, but in the, like, if you think deeply about it, it really is kind of a symbol of what people have kind of turned into. It's a road rage incident, or not a road rage incident. It was, I think it might have been a road rage incident, because there was one guy that was like, I don't know if he was trying to race them or if he was just trying to like threaten them by like driving really closely and just being like an obnoxious driver. But he was getting upset and whatnot, and the other drivers were, I guess, doing, I don't know what they were, I don't really know exactly what happened before, but just from what they were describing is he ended up causing an accident, and he pulled over, and so the people were filming, and they were mocking him by saying the things that he had been saying in a high-pitched voice, and he ended up losing it. Like, he was on camera screaming back at them, and then he started to like smash his own windshield in the back, all because these people were like making fun of him. And like, this is what we're living through right now, is people that have zero control over their emotions, and they can't handle the slightest instigation from anybody. Like, my parents taught me, like, just ignore them. Just close your ears, pretend they're not there, and walk away. It is not worth your time. It is not worth a trip to prison. It is not worth any of that nonsense just to prove yourself to somebody, or just to like show that you're better than somebody, just ignore them, because they're going to do what they're going to do no matter what. And there's so many people out there that do not have that form of emotional control, where they think that because they feel something, they have to show it. And this is at least a factor, I think, that's behind all of these types of crimes, these people losing it over small little things and killing people or hurting people, because they're just unable to handle their own emotions inside them. And I do worry about the increase in this type of violence, because with the epidemic of younger generations being raised by parents that are literally giving them no guidelines whatsoever. Like, there are children that I've been hearing so many horror stories of teachers, of kids that have no idea how to regulate their emotions, have no clue how to make decisions for themselves whatsoever. One that always stands out in my mind is a teacher. This is a high school teacher of sophomores. There was a bag sitting in the middle of the classroom, and the kids would stand behind the bag looking at the teacher saying, well, what do we do? She's like, you pick it up and you put it on the desk, or you move it. And they're just like, but where do we put it? Like, they just, their minds couldn't even comprehend that you can literally just move something out of the way. And we have thousands, if not millions, of kids that are being raised to have no ability to do anything with themselves. They have no idea how to control their emotions. They have no idea how to have social interactions in any sense. They're addicted to technology so much that they can't function. And I worry about the repercussions on crime in the future if we have all of these people that have zero knowledge of anything related to psychology and anything related to regulating themselves and how to properly deal with difficult situations. Because if we have all of these children growing up into adults that have no social skills whatsoever, I bet you we're going to start seeing a massive increase in the types of crime that, and especially the type of crime that involve instantaneous, instant gratification type crimes, where you are in the moment, you're heated, and you do something, and then afterwards you're like, oh, whoops, my bad, I didn't mean to do that. And also, not having proper social relationships, you're going to have a lack of empathy as well. And so there's going to be a disconnect between what they did and what it's doing to other people around them. They're going to have no remorse at all. They're not going to recognize that what they did hurt other people, because they're only going to be thinking of themselves. I mean, you very clearly can see this in a lot of different cases. Granted, not everyone is like this. There are still people that hurt somebody and feel extremely badly. But there's so many people nowadays that seem to lack all form of empathy. And the only reason they're upset is because now they have to go to prison. They don't care that they took a life. They don't care that they hurt somebody. They don't care that they disabled somebody and handicapped them for the rest of their lives. What they care about is, but I don't want to go to prison. And it seems like we're going to have more and more of these types of people, especially with this rise of dependence on technology to do everything for us. I mean, people are even befriending AI over people. And I can't even imagine what you're going to get when you mix lack of emotional regulation with just zero social interactions whatsoever. I don't know what this lady's whole deal was, but just from what it sounds like, she probably has this problem. She probably has been raised to not have any control over her behavior, or she has a condition that she's not seeking out care for that causes her to have these irate emotions. But I think this is just a sign of what's to come. And this is definitely a huge shout out to all parents. Make sure you're teaching your kids how to regulate themselves, how to understand their emotions and what to do with them, because We can't live in a world where all people think that if I feel something, people have to understand it by me acting it out for them. That's not necessary. Just because you feel a certain way does not mean you have to put it on display in the most egregious way possible. It's that's not how things work. There's so many other ways that you can get the outcome that you want without having to actually hurt people to do so. So that, and also not just for children, for adults, if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, please go to classes, get therapy, find a psychiatrist, find help, because it will not help you and it will not help any of the other people around you if you have no way to control your behavior. It's going to hurt other people, and you are eventually going to do something that you regret, that people around you are going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of people. So yeah, this is just my way of saying, like, you don't have to show your emotions all the time. There are ways that you can manage yourself so you can solve whatever the problem is without having to have this outrageous outburst. I know we see it on TV, we see it on the media. It looks funny, it looks cool on TV, but it's not the same in real life. There are not the same consequences in real life as there is on TV. And we need to start figuring that out.
They call it crashing out now. It took me 29 years to begin to be able to control my feelings, my emotional state. I had I was slow to react, like a deer in the headlights, but once I caught on, my temper was horrible. And I was the most sensitive out of everybody I usually ran with. But I can tell you what I know. I bet she's thinking now. The holidays coming, New Year's coming, Christmas coming. She probably got family. Don't know if she got kids or not, but pretty sure somebody who loved her, somebody who needed her. I bet she thinking now, because I'm thinking about the stupid stuff I did 20 years ago every day. And the wild thing about it is that they get closer and closer every day, to where it's like, I got a friend, he tell me all the time, like, you better not forget all that stuff. That's how you go out bad. So I'm thinking, the further I feel like I get, the more successful, the closer those things come to me, because I just had bad habits. And I can't even say all of that was mistakes. I was thinking I was intelligent. So I know, for a while you want to prove, yeah, I'm tough, it's whatever. Yeah, I would have did the same thing. But after you laid up in that bump, couple days, you can't get out of Dodge, you're gonna miss that light. And I feel for, and I feel for him, because he got family, people who love him. It's just unfortunate because, like you said, the regulation. Another thing I noticed, it's hard for me to watch a video over 30 seconds now. It's hard. I ain't read a book. I ain't read a whole book. Like, I'll start a book, read a chapter here. I ain't read a whole book in like a year or two, maybe 3. A whole just sat there. And that was my favorite thing to do besides travel. But I've been so social medialized, if that's a word, that my attention span is super short. And I feel like I know that if people haven't been taught that, like you said, Sydney, if they're not working on that, if they don't have the experience like that, they quick. And that impulse. And I heard somebody say, you're most dangerous when you think you're right. And it took a long time for me to understand that, because at first I was like, you're right. Like, what is it? You're dangerous because you'll do anything to get your point across, which makes you now a liability. Makes you so with her decision, it being publicized, you know, there's probably street light cameras, red light cameras, and then also there was probably other people on the road. Now they're traumatized, and whoever got that footage, it's gonna come to light, and it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be worse for her, but that family is missing a young man who was possibly a provider or on his way to being a provider. And in this day and time right now, we don't need to be losing any more people, especially not for impulsiveness, to say. And like I said, I can't sit here and judge or whatever, because I remember having those thoughts. I remember growing up thinking that that was the way I was supposed to be, and coming outside, feeling like I wish somebody would today. Try me, watch. I'm gonna prove to the world that I do this, and I'm gonna prove to the world. And really, my saving grace is that I'm soft as toast, and I can admit it now with a smile. And I'm glad. What up, SM, y'all? Peace, everybody. Real spill. All y'all coming through. I can admit it now with a smile that I am highly, extremely sensitive to this day, even though I still want to be like, oh yeah, I'm tough, and I talk real tough on the rap because it's hip hop, and that's just what it is. But in real life, I'm so glad to acknowledge that I'm not like that anymore, and I follow the universal law, which should be another golden rule, is that you don't start none, it won't be none. And I learned that the hard way. Every time I started something, I got my behind handed to me. Every single time I started something stupid, I had to tuck my tail in and get to running. And it was only right because I thought I was right, and I was absolutely wrong. So with that, I feel for the girl, I feel for the victim. And the one thing, I don't know too much about karma or whatever, but I know that once she's sitting up in there, like I said, for the first couple days, you be hard, you be trying to, but after a while, when you can't move, you don't have access to them freedoms no more. I know that, and I never did a day of prison, but I know how it feels to be unfree. You know, even if that's a word, but I know how it feels to have all your privileges taken away, and it's never fun. It's never fun. And the one thing that you realize, you be like, damn, I don't want to be here. So, you know, it's an unfortunate way to learn like that, but she's gonna pay, because even if he doesn't get his due justice, you know, the streets is gonna get into that. That's not gone. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing, you know, you don't want to promote it. I'm pretty sure the family don't want to do all that, but some people was going to be upset about that. So at the end of the day, regardless of what, she'll never be at peace.
Nah, never. Your temper and your attitude is only good for one or two things. Creating or destroying. Period. It's just a flame that if it's uncontrolled, it will burn everything down, or it will warm an entire house. It's all up to you. You control the thermostat. And the truth be told, nobody wants to be corrected. Nobody wants to be told they're wrong. I can only imagine that there's dozens and dozens of men and women as we speak that feel just like how you felt that philosophy about being right. There's a lot of people who feel like that. And reality is the only teacher. Doesn't really make a difference how many statistics you pull up. Doesn't matter how much you give your experiences. They didn't experience it. They don't know what it's like to burn a bridge and then see everything crumble underneath them and have to stew in it. They don't know what it feels like to have their anger and their attitude destroy friendships and relationships. Eventually they will find out. And then when they find out, that is the only time they will ever truly grasp or comprehend what the other person felt. If they ever do, of course. Because some people are just narcissistic that way. Took me 30 plus years. And I'm with you. I am not a street dude. I ain't a gangster. I ain't Michael Corleone. I'm not Scarface. We all trying to get to our destinations, do our job, clock in, clock out. I have nothing to prove. I do not need to be the bigger man here. I do not need to have a million guns on my side, and I have absolutely no reason to go back and forth with somebody who has already shown me that they are willing to risk their freedom or their life over something that is so fleeting as pride and ego. I'm not a gambler. That's how I look at it. You got something to prove to your neighborhood. You got something to prove in that traffic. I don't. It take a lot for me to blow the horn. Like, you really got to be sitting there. I would rather somebody behind me blow the horn at you before I blow the horn at you. But if I got to, that means that you've really been sitting here just on your phone playing Jenga or whatever. You doing something you ain't got no business doing at the light. And I had no choice but to do it. Outside of that, I don't really push the horn. And if somebody blow it at me, it's not really a big deal. I done had people throw the middle finger up at me in traffic going in other like, all right. That's supposed to hurt my feelings. You having a bad day, sir, ma'am? Something going on in your life that ain't good. Guess what? You still gotta live with it, whether or not I'm in this traffic or not. When you go home, you still gonna have them same problems. Whatever you got going on ain't got nothing to do with me. So there's no reason for me to feed into that. I'm gonna go on with the rest of my life with a smile on my face. And that is what it is. I'm not about to sit up here and entertain ignorance. How many times do we got to scroll social media, TikTok, Facebook, Rumble? How many times do we got to go up and down and see people ending up in jail or dead over their anger or their attitude? Before you say, oh, wait. Because I read the comment section a lot. And they argue about it. This is senseless. This is stupid. Why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep doing this? Yeah, why do we keep doing it? The same people that's going to jail, guess what? You were sitting right where we were watching someone else do it, but you still end up doing what they did. How does that happen? People don't want to be taken serious. They don't want help. They don't want to be told nothing. Just leave me be, stay out my way, and everything is cool. But the problem is, you're going to find any excuse or any reason to be upset or angry. You can't be patient behind the wheel. You're not very patient when you're just on the street or in the house. That's how I look at it. You snappy in person. Like, I don't know how else to cut it or put it. You're not even there. Y'all be in the car arguing and yelling at yourself at something that happened 2 cars over or a car ahead of you. How you know they can't hear you, right? You talking to yourself. It don't make no sense. Do you need a hug? Come here. That's crazy to me, man. This man lost his life for no reason. Nothing that was merited for it. Any final words? Any other thoughts y'all want to add? For drivers, for passengers, just in general.
I have a couple things actually. One, you made some really good points. One, this one's more of a joke. Like, instead of a seat warmer, we need like a seat hugger. So when it detects you getting angry, the seat just gives you a hug. Like, hey man, you don't need to do this. I got you. But also, one of the things you're saying, how like if somebody honks at me, like I've been honked at before. I've accidentally like not been paying attention, made a turn at the wrong time, or almost like bumped into somebody because I like was a bit too close and whatnot. Like when they honked at me, I felt that moment of like, oops, my bad. And I would usually like wave at them and be like, I'm sorry, like mouth to them and try to apologize and whatnot. Like I would never dream of being like, let me attack this person for honking at me, because I recognize like, oh, that was my fault, my bad. I think I can think of one incident where I was honked at where I had no idea why they honked at me. But even then I was like, what was that for? But it wasn't anger. It was just like, what? Why? And another thing I wanted to bring up, I was reading through their statement about what happened, the description of what happened, and 2 things caught my eye. First of all, after she shot him, she didn't speed up and drive away really fast. She continued driving at the same pace that she was driving before. So she really acted like she did not care. Another thing that stood out to me, which kind of made me think of something I said earlier about like how parents are kind of enabling kids to have these attitudes and behaviors and aren't doing anything about it. When they found her, she was at a gas station with her mother and 2 other men were parked, 2 other guys. Someone was removing the identifiable stickers from the rear windshield and placing them into the trash. So this was, her purse was at home. So her parents, or her mom at least, went to the gas station to try and hide the evidence for their daughter after that happened. So she went home, told them what happened, and her parents were like, okay, let me help you. No, that is, if your child comes home admitting to a crime, you take them to the police station. You don't help them get away with it. First of all, they're probably not going to get away with it. So now you're going to get in trouble for being complicit. But 2, she committed a crime. As a parent, it is your obligation to tell them to do the right thing. And also, they were so similar in age. I'm like, am I the only one that keeps noticing these are all like 20-year-olds that are committing these acts? These are like fresh out of college, still could be in college kids that are all involved in these like I couldn't handle my emotions, so I'm going to kill this person. I'm pretty sure the woman that took the life of that mother was also, I think she was in her 20s. I might be remembering that wrong. She might have been older. But I've been noticing a lot more crimes being committed by like 20-something-year-olds. And it makes me wonder if there is a relationship between how people are being raised and this type of behavior, because why are we seeing it within the same generations? I don't see that many crimes. That it's usually like older generations, like 50s, 60s, and then I see a lot of like 20 somethings. So I don't know if it's just a coincidence, just what I'm seeing or what I'm remembering, but it really seems like it's really young people that are committing these acts. And it does make me wonder if it has something to do with how we're being raised, and even technology, if that's having a relationship. Because obviously 30 something and under, we're all the ones that were raised on technology, raised on computers and the internet and everything like that. And we've already seen what it does to your mind to be addicted. So I definitely wonder if there's a relationship there. And I know that road rage is pretty common with younger age groups as it is. But just the rise in this type of violence, as well as that relationship with age and upbringing, I do wonder how much that is related here, especially.
I learned the hard way. You got to control your emotions or they're going to control you. And it's harder for the young people. It's easier said than done. I try to teach my little students every day. You got to get control of the little voice in your head. Don't let it control you, you know. And I used to didn't believe in those techniques, but at the end of the day, counting backwards from 10 to 1, taking them deep breaths, you got to take a walk, you know. I think one thing that we failing to realize lately is that we got more in common than we think. Most of us is just alike, regardless of what. And like you said, Deep, a while ago, I'm just trying to get home or from A to B. So, you know, with that, I don't want to say stop honking, because at the end of the day, that's what, you know, you should be able to say something, you know what I'm saying? But I do side on the error of caution, and I'm always slower to move with that because I don't know what people be having going on their day. So if it takes me to wait a couple more seconds before I get to move, then that's just what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's me. But then every once in a while, I get a little angry because you got some people that just don't know how to drive. Well, I'll say they're inconsiderate. They can drive, but they're more inconsiderate, and they feel like they're the only ones on the road. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that it ever should be a case to where you get killed or you in a shoot or you shooting at somebody just for them honking the horn. That's a travesty. But like you said, Sydney, I'm with you with the parents teaching your kids emotional regulation, how to critically think for themselves, and how to make decisions under fire. And as adults, we got to learn that too, because if we were desensitized, because I know my generation was highly desensitized, if we were desensitized before, then we don't have no sense now, and I'm included, you know. And it's unfortunate, but you gotta, you know, keep your head on the swivel and realize in the sign of these times right now, we're not enemies. As a matter of fact, in today's times, a lot of us, we need to band together. We need to organize to stop this stuff, because like y'all said, it's only getting worse. And the only thing that's going to stop that kind of behavior is us sticking together and, you know, shunning that kind of behavior, so that our children, because we're in a time where we burying our children and our children are supposed to be burying us. And that shouldn't be the case. I don't care where you at. I don't care if you in the hood or not. It's time for us to start working together for the betterment of our people and making sure that this stuff is not happening. And, you know, if you got a love for guns, there's a place you could use it. you could go hunting, whoopty whoop, but and that's note to self and all that, to where it's like, okay, we gotta step back and think before we move.
Agreed, man. It's never that serious. It's never that serious, folks. Please, man. If you got a short temper, get some help for it. You don't want to go to a therapist, pray about it, meditate on it, do some yoga. I don't know. It's never that deep, though. I understand there are some drivers out there that are rude and they can be asked, excuse me, they're not pleasant. But you can't allow people to get under your skin that much. You hear me? Let them be the demise to their own attitudes. Shout outs to everybody who pulled up tonight. Sid, I believe you have something for us to close out the show. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Lord Black. Shout out to SG for pulling up. I'm gonna let you close us out.
Also, just a little throw in. I was curious. I looked up the history of horns. And according to a car historian, you'd be thought of as rude if you weren't using your horn back then, which is obviously the opposite of where we are today. You're basically expected to honk your horn if you were coming through the intersection, because it let people know where you were and that you were coming. And so we've definitely flip-flopped from that, where now you're considered to be rude if you use your horn on somebody. But in the spirit of anger, I have a poem that exemplifies that and the efforts to kind of contain difficult emotions that you have inside. So this is called Saboteur. Inside, my restless dragons hide, their steaming breath leaking out in explosive moments from within my stressed out chest. Even as I try my best, the cavernous malcontent feeds on the mistakes, the lament, drowning with my own lies, chasing me down with lullabies. This reptilian mistake allowed, devoured, scoured, the pathways I collapsed to avoid my own relapse. Yet it scratches the rocks at my door, seeking the beast I keep to restore. In my cave, in my mind, searching like me to find my weakest chains to get in once again. With God's test, with distress, as I regress, when disappointment comes out to rest on the hardened, rippled scales used to keep out my chest, discontentment denies the peace I don't deserve, feeding me the negatives that I serve, shooting me down even as I rise. How can I tame the one that thrives on my pride and my demise? How can I tame the self I have trapped inside when I'm nothing more than another sunrise behind perpetually closed off blinds?
Slide.
Bang, 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 bang.
Exceptional.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And shout outs to the people again for pulling up. We will see you guys tomorrow. The show, the morning show. Tap in, hit your bell notifications to alert you. Enjoy the night. Drive safe. And yeah, do me a solid before you go.
What's the goddamn one?
Have a good night,
Peace.
guys.
Happy homecoming.
One hit wonder, at least I got one, huh? At least I got something, really ain't me. The beat bumping, one song could change lives. Let's see something, one joke could save lives. We gon' keep coming, keep functioning, something out of nothing. Ball-wise, I'm top 300, get your favorite artist. I'll chop it up with mutton if they haters. Your ghost could be bludgeon if they for real. We getting money, subtract BS minus Negroes, frontin' everything authentic. Stupid shit I did it, punishing myself like my mom prison. No questions, no tea, not lifting. One time for tea, being broke wasn't living.